Okay, let's dive in. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really unpacking a specific source, looking closely at a deeply concerning event up in Minnesota.
And our main source material for this is an excerpt from BBC News. It gives us a pretty clear view of the main facts as they're reporting them.
And the core topic is a manhunt that's currently underway. It follows what this source is calling a targeted act of political violence. And the BBC piece gets right to it, the immediate tragic results. One state senator dead, another wounded.
Yeah, that's the stark reality laid out in the source. It names the deceased senator as Melissa Hortman and the one who was wounded as John Hoffman.
Yeah.
And it does note that the source identifies both as Democrats.
Right, so those are the victims named. And then the BBC excerpt moves on to who the authorities are, actively searching for right now.
According to the details in this piece, yes, the individual they're seeking is named Vance Luther Boulter. He's 57 years old.
Okay. And the source emphasizes a really specific detail about how these attacks reportedly happened. It says Boulter, allegedly, pretended to be a police officer to get inside their homes.
Yeah, that is quite a detail, isn't it?
It really is. The source highlights that specifically.
It certainly suggests a level of premeditation, as described in the source anyway. And looking at where the investigation stands, according to this BBC report.
What does it say?
It points out that investigators are, quote, still working to determine the suspect's connection to the politicians. So that piece is still developing.
Right. So the source is making it clear that that link, that why, isn't actually established yet. Okay. And beyond just the incident and the suspect, the BBC piece also touches on the wider reaction, doesn't it?
It does. The source mentions widespread condemnation of the violence, coming from public officials, really across the board.
Okay, widespread condemnation. Does it name anyone specific?
Yes. The text we have specifically mentions that both the governor and also former President Trump have issued statements condemning the violence. The source just reports that as part of the public response picture.
Got it. So purely reporting what the source says there. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we've pulled from this BBC News excerpt then. We have this targeted event in Minnesota. The tragic outcome for the two senators named, Hortman deceased and Hoffman wounded.
Right.
The suspect authorities are searching for, Vance Boulter.
Yep, age 57.
And that alleged method of entry impersonating an officer, which is quite striking.
Definitely a key detail reported.
And crucially, the source states investigators are still trying to figure out the connection, the motive, really.
Exactly. That's still an active part of the investigation, according to the report. And we also noted the official condemnations mentioned.
Yeah, well, it's clearly a very serious and disturbing situation described in this source material.
No question about that.
And thinking about the information we just discussed, specifically from this source, particularly that point about the investigation still needing to determine the suspect's connection to the politicians, well, it leads to a thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Yeah.
Given that specific detail from the source, that the connection is still under investigation, what questions does that raise for you personally as you hear about this story developing? Something to consider.